transmission. Harare has the highest number of cases with 2,532, followed by Bulawayo with 1,271. Cabinet regrets to inform the nation that deaths due to COVID-19 are now 202. Recoveries, on the other hand, increased to 5,043 from the previously recorded 4,525, while active cases increased to 1,150. Cabinet acknowledged that despite the surge in positive local cases, the majority of the cases of local transmissions are mild to moderate, with a recovery rate of about 80%. Most of these cases are being managed at home and in isolation facilities. The national testing strategy, however, will continue to prioritize the testing of all healthcare workers and other frontline personnel, that's inclusive of public transport drivers. Government is finalizing on modalities for the reopening of airports to support the resumption of the tourism sector. The plan is to start with the resumption of domestic flights and then move to international flights. Cabinet approved the resumption of the rest of tourism operations, including boarding operations. Regarding primary and secondary education, Cabinet notes that based on an ongoing consultations with relevant stakeholders in that sector, the Ministry is continuing with its preparations for the reopening of schools for the end of year 2020 final examination classes. 15 stakeholders have submitted their inputs, and another 9 are expected to make their submissions shortly. Among those that were invited for inputs on the reopening of schools are the following: the Zimbabwe Visually Impaired Teachers Union, and 9 other teachers' unions, then the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Education, then the Association of Schools Development Committees, the Independent Colleges in Zimbabwe, the Private Schools Association of Zimbabwe, and the Association of Trust Schools. The schools' opening dates are scheduled for 14th September 2020 for Cambridge examination classes and 28th September 2020 for ZIMSEC examination classes. Cabinet approved that the ZIMSEC examinations should start on 1st December 2020. The Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education is working closely with other ministries and stakeholders to guarantee the safety of pupils and staff during the examinations period. Standard operating procedures have been distributed to all schools. Then Cabinet received principles of the Zimbabwe Youth Bill. Cabinet approved the principles of the Zimbabwe Youth Bill as presented by the Minister of Youth, Sports, Arts and Recreation, Honorable Kirsty Coventry. She indicated that the current legislation on the youth provides only for the Zimbabwe Youth Council and is silent on all other aspects of the youth. The objective of the proposed bill is thus to have an all-encompassing legislation that addresses all sectors, areas of the youth, align it to the Constitution, as well as the domestication of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child and the SADC Declaration on Youth Development and Empowerment. The bill will provide for, among others, the empowerment of the youth and their indispensable contributions to sustainable progress and change, then the mechanisms for active and meaningful participation of youth in nation building by mainstreaming them in social, economic, and political spaces, and also the establishment of youth focal desks in all government ministries and departments at all levels. Then Cabinet also received a report on season rainfall forecast for Zimbabwe. The Minister of Environment, Climate, Tourism and Environment, Honorable Vyovu, briefed Cabinet on the 2020-2021 season rainfall forecast for Zimbabwe. The forecast, which is a product of the annual National Climate Outlook Forum, NACOF, convened by the Meteorological Services Department of Zimbabwe, MSD, is used by multi-sectoral stakeholders as a planning tool, since weather and climate information is invaluable to all sectors of the economy. Cabinet adopted the Minister's report, which pointed to an improved rainfall pattern for the season. The forecast is for total cumulative seasonal rainfall amounts and seasonal rainfall predictions, which will be updated on a monthly basis beginning end of October. Further details relating to the region-specific outlook will be given by the relevant department. I want to thank you for listening. That's the post-briefing.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Now we come to the time when we give the opportunity to members of the media to pose any questions on the issues which were presented to you. Who wants to start the ball rolling? Yes, sir.
My name is Blessed Mhlanga from Heart and Soul TV and Radio and Newsday. Minister, I wanted to find out, you said that Cabinet agreed on a plan to open airports for tourism, and you started local and then go out. What is the status of borders? Is it just opening of airports, or you're going to be opening all ports of entry when we then decide, or the government then decides to open for international tourist arrival? And I also wanted clarity still on that aspect, that as we prepare to receive foreigners, COVID regulations in the country, what level are we going to be, and what other relaxations? For instance, bottle stores are still closed, beer halls and the like. So are these going to be opened before we start accepting international visitors into the country? And to the Minister of Primary Education, I did not hear any issue concerning Progressive Teachers Union and ZIMTA in terms of consultation when you read out the list of the people that are being consulted. What does that speak to? Are these people not supposed to be consulted, or their input is negligible? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Kudzema. I'm a freelance journalist. My question is going to be going to the chairperson on the ad hoc committee on COVID-19. Over the past week, we have reported a rise in the number of recoveries recorded. I would want to know what form of measure has been used to be determining these recoveries, because at the moment there's a shortage of test kits. Right now there are no retests that are being done. So what form of measure has been used for us to be saying we have such a number of recoveries? Thank you.
Yes, please.
My name is John Kasim, Channel Africa, SABC. Follow up to my friend who just asked the question on the testing. We hear that the test kits are in short supply. So I just wanted to find out whether you can give us a clear picture on what is it that is in short supply. Are they just the reagents or everything, and how much test kits are you expecting at least to get back to your feet? The second one is to the Minister of Tourism. Now that we are reopening the flights, maybe domestic, for the start, can you just maybe shed more light on the recent incident that took place in Wange? We hear that 11 elephants died. Tests have been conducted, suspected anthrax, but no one has said more apart from that on that issue. maybe can you just give an explanation of what is really happening since the tourism and wildlife sector is now opening, so that at least people would know what is taking place.
My name is Tafatson Fururiwa. I'm freelance. My question goes to the Minister of Tourism. Minister, there are allegations of illegal miners in Chimanimani, a place where it was designated for tourism. You've now turned into a mining field. What's your take on that? What's your comment on that? Thank you.
We come to the end of the first round. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much all for your very good questions, and Blessed Mtanga, heart and soul. The question is actually on tourism. He wants to know, now that there is an agreed plan to open up tourism, especially opening up of the airports, what is that you are going to do to make sure that we prepare ourselves to receive tourists, and what are the relaxations, especially he talked about bottle stores not being open. So he would like to know what are the relaxations. And I'm handing over to you, Minister of Tourism, Honorable Jovo.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, and thank you for the question. The gradual reopening of our borders will be a phased approach. We are currently looking closely at our state of preparedness in all our ports of entry, and we had an extensive report on the state of the Kazungula border itself. So initially we will be looking at Victoria Falls International Airport, but also considering that a number of flights go through Robert Mugabe International Airport and some through Joshua Nkomo International Airport. Those will also be readied, but we will not be opening all the ports of entry at the same time. It will be a phased approach. We also consider that the borders within the vicinity of Victoria Falls, which is Kazungula and Victoria Falls, will have to be opened, and we are currently looking at all the protocols there. It is a committee's determination on what else gets to be relaxed, which is then recommended to the head of state. It is a bit too early at this point to say what else will be relaxed. I think the chairman is there, but again, it's the task force recommends to the head of state. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Jovu, for that answer. I hope, Blessed Mhlanga, you are happy. And to your next question, again by Blessed Mhlanga, this time is directed at the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Matema. We did report to the fact that there were 9 other teachers' unions who were consulted, and he feels, I don't know where he's getting his information, but Minister, you can clarify. He is asking about ZIMTA, whether they were also consulted. Minister?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Blessed. Yes, indeed, we have more than 9 teachers' unions in Zimbabwe, and we consult all of them. The biggest of them all is ZIMTA. We consult ZIMTA, we consult even the Progressive Teachers Union. There's no union that is left behind, and they are all important. That is why they were formed. So we consult everybody in the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, including all our trade unions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Matema, for that. And then I go next to Kudzai Madzire. And he's a freelance, and the question is directed to the chairperson of the COVID-19 task force, Honorable Muchinguri Kashiri. And the question is saying over the past weeks, he says we've noted increase, and yes, there is increase of number of rate of recoveries, almost about 80%. And he then says there is information that there are not enough tests. So his question is, what form of measures are being used to actually come up with those figures? Honorable Minister, and I was thinking maybe you can tie it together with John Carson, because it's almost related, where he was talking about the shortage of test kits, and he would like to know if you're able to tell them what is in short supply and how much do you expect to receive in the nearest future. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Information. I will start with the question by Mr. Madzire, where he wants an explanation on what methods we are using to determine recoveries, which have been increasing in the past week. Let me say that in the Ministry of Health, we do have surveillance and also management teams which do follow up and undertake surveillance whenever we test and establish that people are positive. These surveillance teams are found at district, provincial, and at national level. This system is a system which on a weekly basis our command centers receive reports which they feed into the task force. So we are very satisfied that these teams and systems that we have put in place do provide these statistics which are checked, assessed, and also we ensure that the test kits are distributed at the district centers. All the data which is collected is what we provide to you on a weekly basis. The second issue is the shortage of test kits. Yes, there is a shortage of test kits. We have done already PCR and also rapid tests in the tune of more than 200,000 so far. We agree that we do have some serious shortage of these test kits, and I want to report with confidence that already 220 test kits are on order. We were informed yesterday at our ministerial meeting by the resource committee that already 20 million US dollars was released to the Ministry of Health, and we are hoping that with that injection, these are test kits which are already available on the local market, and we are confident that with the release of these test kits, we should see an increased activity in terms of testing kits. Let me also emphasize that we are expecting the Ministry of Higher Education to continue producing PPEs in terms of the masks, in terms of sanitizers, but also to emphasize that we are having much more sanitizers that are produced locally and much less of the face masks, particularly the 3-ply. But the good news is that a lot of research already has been done by our universities, and we are very happy that they are almost through with the production of the 3-ply masks, and also that they have embarked on serious research to produce swabs, the testing swabs, and we were briefed also that they are at an advanced stage. So the Ministry of Health is emphasizing on local production. That will also ensure that import substitution, which is now being prioritized, will see the day. So yes, we have these shortages in these areas, but government is making every effort. And I want to also say the private sector has come in handy. They are producing pharmaceuticals much needed. So in terms of these shortages, we are hoping that the efforts that are being made by the new Minister of Health are going to pay dividend in the shortest time. But let me go back because the first question which was asked, perhaps I had not quite adequately responded in terms of the justification of the results that we have shared with you, which are giving a positive result. We are, as I indicated, that because of the very effective surveillance system that we have put in place, and also the case management system that we have put in place, we are regularly being fed with all the happenings at district and provincial level, and we are satisfied that little the testing is taking place. We are happy that the PCR test kits, although they are minimal, but there is also new technology which has been introduced, which is now giving instant results within an hour. And coming out of that result, if someone is positive, we are now in a position to be able, with the data that we collect, we follow up, we undertake the surveillance, and we are very happy with the results that we are getting, which match the number of testing that we are undertaking. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair of the Interministerial COVID-19 Task Force. I think Kudzai Maziri, you are happy with that comprehensive answer. I then move on to the last of the questions, Chief Secretary, and the last two shows excitement about the resumption of tourism activities, and the two questions are directed to you, Honorable Yovu. The first one was from Kasim, and he just wondered if you could shed more light on the incident that happened in Wange. I don't know whether that was discussed in Cabinet, but since we are excited about opening up of tourism, I think you can tackle that one. He says there was suspicion of anthrax, and he would like to know what is really happening in Wange, Minister.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the question, Kasim. This is a very disturbing development which is happening in the Wange area. We have in fact lost now up to 22. Our teams were on the ground today. They used some drones to reach out to other areas, and there were 6 more elephants that were found dead. We have got teams also of scientists who have already collected samples to try and understand what could be the cause of death. What I can say so far is that anthrax has been ruled out, but it will take some bit of time for them to have conclusive results on what is the real cause. We are working with some private specialists in the area, and we do have a private specialist laboratory in Victoria Falls, which we have been able to make use of. And we are expecting that we should be getting some preliminary results, I think as early as tomorrow. They were suspecting that it could be some bacterial plant, but they were cautiously giving me these results because they are still running numerous tests. And we hope that as we rope in also the tertiary institutions, our universities, we will have more robust testing systems so that we are able to urgently pinpoint the real cause of the death. So currently there are no conclusive results, but we are quite worried about the development which has taken place. Thank you, Chair.
And last but not least, Honorable Minister Tafadzwa, who is a freelance. Tafadzwa, your last name?
Mufururirwa. Yes.
Thank you so much. And I know the minister is also aware of it. You can tell with the passion she is talking about it. I'm happy you are raising it as illegal mining, and anything illegal is illegal. The law has to take its course. It's really disturbing, and you know when there is illegal mining, the rate of environmental destruction that takes place there. It is also in a national park, and what we have since done is to put teams together with the police, law enforcement agencies, who as we speak are on the ground, and we hope they will be able to clear the illegal activities taking place there. But we are also putting resources together with EMA to make sure that we can support continued police presence in the area. We are in discussions with the police to make sure that we are able to protect that area for a sustained period of time. But the rate of destruction is quite bad. I'm told there is a mountain there. I haven't been to the place, but there is a mountain that has been dug almost right across. It's really unfortunate. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Honorable Jovu, for those answers. And we now turn back to you, Chief Secretary, for the second round.
Thank you. Welcome to the second and final round. Who wants to start? Second back, yes.
Thank you, Chief Sec. My name is Blessed Mhlanga. Chief Sec, there is concern over the manner in which journalists are being handled, especially if you manage to see a video where police were restricting journalists from interviewing lawyers who are coming from court. And we believe that media is partners for development. And Madam Chair, we want to know if it is government policy or that journalists should be dissuaded from doing their official duty. Thank you.
Yes, right.
Yes, Tafadzwa Mufururirwa. Once again to the Minister of tourism. Minister, it is believed that the syndicate are being led by rangers, the ones that are employed by parks. And it is believed that there is a lot of corruption activities happening on the ground. Are we going to see arrest in the coming weeks of those perpetrators or those leaders of the syndicate? Thank you.
Okay, I'm Kuzemadzi. I'm going to be going back to the Honorable Chair of the Ad hoc Committee on COVID. It's a follow-up question on my first question in regard to recoveries. You said there are teams which are on the ground at district and provincial level. It seems like what's happening on the ground and what is reported, there are two different things. Because on the ground, I've been a COVID patient. There isn't anything like that that's happening. So I would want to know that which measures are you putting in place so that the guys who are on the ground actually give you something that is accurate? Thank you.
Last one. Yes, please.
It's John Kasim again. My apologies for asking something that I know might not have been discussed in the cabinet, but I think maybe Minister Mchangwa can take advantage of this press briefing to clarify on the issue of the land. Is it government's decision now to take back or to give back land to the whites, or maybe reversing the land redistribution exercise? Is it on the issue of interpretation of the government statement, which is wrong, or it is really the issue that land is not going back to the whites? Can you clarify maybe for the benefit of the Zimbabweans?
Okay, I revert to the chair.
Thank you very much, Chief Secretary. Blessed Buhang, heart and soul. These are issues which we are talking to you all the time, and I think as a ministry we are very close partners, and we are very concerned about the welfare of our journalists. And this is precisely even during this time of lockdown, we have worked hard to make sure that journalists are put there in the statutory instrument as essential, because you are essential. And information is power, and we need our people to be informed of what is happening on the ground. We are talking about COVID-19 preventative and precautionary measures. Those are the issues which you've been spreading, and you've been doing a very good job, because our people, yes, some may not wear their masks, but they are aware of COVID-19 and because of the work which journalists have been doing out there. So we continue working as partners, and we consider you as partners. If there is any problem, if there is any particular issue, you are free to call our ministry. My door is open, my permanent secretary's door is open, so that we discuss if there are any particular issues. I am not aware, when you say, is it government's policy to stop journalists from reporting? Certainly not. Certainly not. And you know we've been working very closely together, and you know that. So, I mean, if there are any particular issues, please feel free, come to the ministry, let's look at it. Thank you. Then Tafadzwa, Tafadzwa, I know, I'm trying to get your name. But next time I'll get it. Mupururi. Mupururi, yes. This Tafadzwa is back again. He's back. Tafadzwa is back to the Minister of Tourism and Environment and Climate. It is about the issue, he's concerned about what is happening in Wange, and he's actually talking about Intimanimani, yes. Yeah, I wanted to just make you feel that I don't just look at Intimanimani, I also look at Wange. And he's concerned about, he says there are syndicates of rangers there, and a lot of corruption on the ground. And his question was, are we going to see arrests in the nearest future? Minister?
Thank you, Tapato, for the question. I don't know if there is a syndicate of rangers, but it's possible you know more than me, or someone knows more than me. If we are ever going to deal with any corruption issues that are happening, we need to continuously encourage our citizenry to come up forward and report. I'm happy the police are there. I hope those who have more information about this will be at liberty to share that. Unfortunately, arrest cannot be made on the basis of it is believed. There has to be people who are willing to come forward and report this. But what I saw this in social media as well, but I have since asked National Parks to make sure that the work that will be done there is done without any interference. So there will be temporary reshuffling of staff. They will be moved to other areas just to make sure that our investigations are carried on. But like I said, as long as it is illegal mining, those found to be there mining illegally will be apprehended. There are no two ways about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. I hope, Tafazo, you are happy. That was his last round. Unfortunately, you don't have another chance, unless you really have something a hot pursuit. But let me move on to the next question from Kudzai Madzire. And this was a follow-up question to you, Honorable Chair of the COVID-19 Task Force. He says, you said there is surveillance teams on the ground, and he is talking as one who has recovered from COVID-19, and he's saying there isn't any surveillance. Is this in the whole country? I know your experience is that you found no surveillance teams on the ground. And so he wants to know from you, what measures are you putting into place that at least you have those surveillance teams all over, as you say, district, provincial, so that you get accurate information about recoveries? That was the issue.
Thank you, Mr. Madzire. Your question is very pertinent. Perhaps in my first response, I made reference only to district rapid teams which are into surveillance and also case management. I do appreciate that he might have been missed, but the measures that the Ministry of Health have put in place is to introduce at village level healthcare workers who are also now doing surveillance and also case management. We were briefed that these are under training for them to be able to appreciate their functions and also to ensure that they are mobile, they reach out as much as possible. So we are hoping that with these new measures that have been put in place, we will begin now to see information filtering in, improving our efficiency in the collection of data. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let me just also speak to the question of asking for clarity, which he asked about the issues of clarity on land. Is it government's decision to request land reform? That will never happen. There is no intention or whatever, or policy, or anything which will take the land reform came. Land reform came. Sorry? Okay. Okay. I'm talking to the issues about the statement which was given, a joint statement which was given by the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Water and Rural Settlement, together with the Minister of Finance and Economic Development in the wake of the conclusion of the 29th July 2020 of the global compensation deed between the government of Zimbabwe and the former farm workers. And I would like to say there's absolutely nothing which should be misinterpreted from this agreement. It's very clear. It's not a form of land reversal. Land reform came and it has gone. What Zimbabwe wants is now increased agricultural productivity. You know, that's what we want. So going forward, the government's highest priority in agriculture is to increase production and productivity through the collaborative efforts of all Zimbabweans. This includes skills transfer from former farm owners to the resettled farmers and the provision of an attractive land tenure system that will be supportive of increased levels of investment on our agricultural land. So in light of the foregoing, it has become necessary to continue to clarify the following issues. Under the tenure status of the land, which was compulsorily acquired for resettlement, but the former farm owners have continued farming operations, they have no tenure document. And I think this is what, when they speak about, they are Zimbabweans, when they speak about former farm owners on compulsorily acquired land, they should urgently regularize because they have no tenure. But they are Zimbabweans like every Zimbabwean. They will go the process through of applying, or if it's a letter or offer letter or a 99-year lease. So there is absolutely no returning of land. This agreement is talking to the compensation of developments which were done on those farms. And also just to talk on the entitlement to compensation for both land and improvements. Under that title, the only former farm owners who are being looked at are indigenous Zimbabweans. And I want that very clear. Indigenous Zimbabweans whose farms may have been taken, or citizens of countries which had ratified BIPAs, the Bilateral Investment Protection and Promotion Agreements. So this has got to be made very clear. The agreement is talking to compensation of improvements on the farms and not land. I hope I'm clear. I hope everybody understands that there is no land reversal in Zimbabwe. This compensation of improvements on the farms is in our constitution, which was endorsed in 2013. And all what government is doing is implementing what is in our constitution and not giving white former farmers land. I thank you.